Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me again on this section of Impact. It's always a pleasure to have you on this very show. And today I'm quite over excited because I have an incredible personality joining me on this platform today. And as you know, my purpose for this show is to actually bring us to closer to incredible people with incredible ideas and stories and wisdom that could actually able to help us tread on the path we've all chosen individually. And today I consider myself blessed to have the opportunity to bring one of the greatest out there to actually really share with us with some of the most incredible wisdom I think we needed most, especially at this very time. So the man I have with me here today probably might actually don't need so much introduction, and probably for the sake of most people, let me consider a few. I could just do the traditional thing by saying a few things about him, and it's a pleasure to have with you, to have me with, have you in this session today, Jason Stephenson. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, Eddie, thank you very much for having me. I'm doing really well, and it's a pleasure to be here with you right now at this
Amazing.
moment.
Honestly, I'm kind of overjoyed because
Mhm.
you know, we'll be talking front and back to seeing how we could be able to bring these days into fruition. So
Mm.
it's actually really makes me feel great for being able to work on this and bringing it into reality. You know, at first it was just a kind of thought. You know, I think I should do this, and then seeing it becoming a fruition today, it really makes give me a sense of fulfillment. So
Mhm.
I think I will just say a few things about you for the sake of so few people who are probably coming across you on this space for the very first time. So Jason Stephenson is an author and a meditational coach. He is the founder of Relax Me Online and has been involved in the meditation and relaxation healing field for the past 15 years. Whoa, that's a long time, bro. He's a meditation guru on YouTube with his videos having reached millions of views and with over 2.3 million subscribers on the internet. Wow, that's actually incredible. Actually incredible. And Jason Stephenson videos have been viewed for more than 250 something views, right? Million views on the YouTube.
Yeah, millions of views now.
Millions of
Millions,
views. That's
over
quite
500 million views or something.
500 million views on YouTube, man. That's quite incredible. Honestly,
Mm.
once again, it's a pleasure to have you joining me on this platform today, Jason. So I
Thanks,
think
Eddie.
without wasting so much time, we've already have a kind of a nice conversation and behind the scene, and so I think it's going to be quite amazing over here as well. You know, let me first before I dive in straightly, let me quickly first of all tell you how I came across you for the very first time. You know,
Mhm.
I read a little book called titled "The Violin of Your Soul." You know, and I don't know if you remember that book or something. Do you know about that book? There's a little book called "A Violin of Your Soul."
Yes, yes.
You know, when I read that book, and I think the author have the same name with you, you know, so I begin to, you know, let me go after this name, you know,
Yeah.
and then I bumped into your channel on YouTube, and you know, from there I said, okay, wow, this is incredible. You know, from there I begin to study more about you, and I just get locked on your content. You know, this is quite incredible. You know, this actually, you know, that moment just brought a kind of revitalization in me, and since then it has always been from amazing to amazing experience with your work. And today I'm so proud to really have you with me on this very session,
Thank you.
Jason.
Thank you, Eddie. As I mentioned to you before, I'm truly blessed and honored to do the work that I do. Uh, because it's a joy for myself to do this for myself, but also it's to give, to be able to give, to have this opportunity to give to so many people across the world. It's truly it's an honor. And Eddie, I have a beautiful team of people now that work behind me, that help me to deliver this. So what you see on that one video, recognize that has been touched by about 10 different hands at different times of my staff, all different staff, from musicians to producers to editors to sound editors to video production to the whole work. So I think what you're seeing, Eddie, is a combination of energy that is going out through YouTube, and I'm a part of it, but so is the rest, so is all the team that work behind me, so I'm very blessed to have this opportunity. And I think that that's why my work has so much power, because you and I both know, and many listeners probably know, that everything is energy, right? And so when you've got this powerhouse of energy, that where everyone's intentions come into this video and it's pushed out there, it reaches you, and it's reached you, and that's a beautiful thing. So here I am representing all that energy behind me. I'm a representation of all that beautiful energy.
That's quite incredible. That's quite incredible. Amazing, amazing. I think we're gonna explore the energy today. Yeah. Sure. So let's quickly dive into the conversation for today. We're talking about how to get rid of limiting belief. And I know I've read so much about you. You're someone who have been through so many life hiccups and happen to emerge as a victor. So, and if at all there's anyone who actually really understands what limiting belief is all about, I think you are one of those people, from what I've gathered about you. So sometimes it's our subconscious mind seems to work on a default negatively than being positive. So what I think I want us to begin from here. For most people who have not really had the opportunity to know more about you like I do, so I just want you to take us a little bit back to history. Before you become the Justice Stephenson of today that everyone knows and celebrate, one who associate with. Can you please quickly just take us a little bit back on the history? How did you get to this place?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'd like to take you right back, okay? All the way back to my childhood. And the reason why I want to do this is because I believe that when we're children, it's like that's when we're untarnished, okay, with different beliefs, varying beliefs. That's home. That's like home. That's home base. And I think what happens along the way is, unfortunately, due to beliefs and systems, and we lose that home base.
Yep.
And I can remember as a child, my first experience of meditation, before I even knew what meditation was. I was blessed to be able to go around Australia with my parents, who were on a 6-month off school and traveling around Australia. And I used to love being on my own a lot. And I remember wandering away from everyone, and I would just sit in silence and in peace, and feeling like in those moments that I had everything that I could ever have. And of course, I didn't know what was happening and what was going on, but I remember sitting there and just feeling like I had everything I could ever desire already there in my heart. And that stayed with me. I can still reflect on that now. However, as time went on, I got involved in music and heavily involved in singing and music and performance. And you see, what then began to happen was that it's almost like Jason began to split into fragments, right? So the one part, you've got this home base, the pure innocence of who we are. And on the other part, then the performer side of me. and who would go on stage, and I loved performing. I loved it so much. It was everything. But that's the problem, you see. It was everything to me. And the ego began to not know the difference between on stage and off stage. And so every singing and all the music became my life. Actually, that's all it was. And I started to think that I am Jason the singer, Jason the actor, rather than Jason who just happens to sing and act along the way.
Yeah.
And so I went into this, right? I went into this performance, and what happened was there was a period of time where things began to fall through, like a domino effect. Jobs, one job fell through for some reason, then another big job fell through for another reason. Then my musical director went back to London and left me, and I'm not trying to get sympathy for that, but anyway, that's basically what happened. And what happened was that I began to, because I could only recognize myself as Jason the singer, when that was taken away from me, I felt useless. I felt discarded. I thought there was nothing left of me. I'm hopeless. What else can I do? I can't do anything else. I'm a singer. I've got no work, blah, blah, blah. And everything just began to fall in. And I began to fall in. And there was this like separation of who I truly was at that point, like a crumbling down. Maybe it was the crumbling of the ego, possibly a good thing. But what happened was the only way I could cope at the time was to begin to drink alcohol, begin to take drugs. I took, began to be addicted to party drugs. And I guess what it was is those drugs were replacing the natural serotonin hits that I got when I presented on stage, and that the audience and the applause, and it would give me goosebumps, being on stage. And
Yeah.
but the ecstasy, the drugs replaced that. And so I thought, oh, this is all it takes. I just have to take a pill now and I feel great. Well, that led me down, a darker path, and things really began to spiral out of control. And I found myself taking drugs much more, like all the time, on a weekly basis, 3-4 times a week. And I remember my friends saying to me, and just be careful. Like, what are you doing with yourself? You're taking too many drugs. You look a mess. And I just kept saying, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. But the reality is, I didn't know what I was doing, and I basically began to crumble. And my health deteriorated. My health got really bad. I was actually diagnosed as HIV positive at that time. And so on top of my bad health become anxiety, major anxiety, panic attacks, depression, just so much. I hid myself away for probably maybe 1 or 2 years. And then, thank goodness, there was 2 things that happened. I watched The Secret at the time. The movie The Secret had come out a few years prior to this, and someone said, watch The Secret. And I watched it and watched it and watched it and watched it, and on, and it just empowered me. It gave me hope, so much hope. And that's when I come up with this first affirmation, because every time I heard the doctors say HIV, it triggered guilt, fear, shame, all these lower vibrational energies. And one day I said, this is not who I am. This is not where I'm at. I'm here in vitality. HIV now stands for here in vitality. And so when I said that, and even when I say it today, I'm here in vitality. This energy just surges through me. These words have so much power, so much power. And I would find myself walking on the beach with my dogs. No one was around, yelling out, I'm here in vitality. I'm here in vitality. And it was just such a gift to recognize that in this moment that I have, I'm here in vitality. I don't have to be concerned about the future now. I don't have to be concerned about the past. I'm right here now, and I'm blessed. I'm here in vitality. I'm in this beautiful space. I'm seeing the sun come up, and it's glorious. And that was a savior. That was the first part of the savior. The second part was then discovering meditation. And I attended a retreat, a 10-day monastic retreat, Buddhist monastic retreat. And it was life-changing for me. It was truly life-changing. I got to understand what mindfulness was all about. And can I tell you one short story, what happened there?
Talk to me, Jason.
Yeah, I got time. Yeah. I was at the 10-day retreat. It was complete silence. You couldn't talk. We had to get our hair shaved off, 2 meals a day, and meditation for hours on end. Now, I had not done much meditation, not much at all. So it was a bit of an awakening for me, because at first I found I was angry. I was angry at all the rules and regulations, and I couldn't understand why we'd have to sit in silence for hours on end. It was much more difficult than I thought, much more difficult. But it wasn't until about the 3rd day. And I remember we used to get mindfulness duties each day. And so we'd have to line up and sign up to get the duty for the day. And so the Reverend said to me, she handed me a bucket of water and a little toothbrush. And she said, Jason, you are to clean all the railings of the temple today. Now, this is the largest temple in the Southern Hemisphere. This is the railings for miles and miles and miles. And she hands me a bucket of water and a little toothbrush. And I said to her, you've got to be joking. Why, how can I just clean it with this? And she just said, Jason, she said, just begin. And so I took that toothbrush and I took the bucket of water, and it brought up this anger again. I'm like scrubbing away. I'm thinking, who do these people think they are? Why am I doing this? This is ridiculous. This is not meditation. And I'm all the monkey mind chatter and all the negativity and the whinging and whining and complaining is going on and on and on, until about 3 hours into it. And I found myself, for the very first time in such a long, long time, present in the moment.
Wow.
Letting go of all the crap of yesterday, not thinking about, will I finish these railings? Will I complete it? What am I doing here? I found myself present. And it was the most joyous feeling, because in that presence was absolute stillness and calm. And so it clicked, it dawned on me, and I realized, oh my goodness, this is what it's about. This is what mindfulness is. This is all what it's about. It's simply being here. And when we are here, there's power in this present moment. That's all we have, and that's all we are, is right here and now. We can't be anything else other than that. And it was the biggest gift I've ever received. And I carried that with me. And that was the long story of it. But it was after that retreat that I knew in my heart that if I could do this, anyone could do this. And I want to pass this information on to other people, so that others can learn from this. And
honestly, what's an amazing, incredible journey it was.
Yeah,
that was quite amazing.
Yeah, and so I went on to record my first CD for children, and it was a CD called I Believe in Me. affirmations in word and song, plus a guided meditation, because I wanted children, I wanted them to realize that it's not about what they do, it's who they are. And they can do anything in the world, but they're beautiful inside. And we need to know that, and we need to recognize that. And if we do that, if we can learn that and recognize that, then it makes the blows later in life a lot easier. We can accept them more, right?
Yeah.
Because we can understand that we're more than that job. We're not just that job.
Yeah.
That's just something we do. You know?
Incredible. Wow. This is really, really mind-blowing, man. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Honestly speaking, this actually, it was like the story was like, fast forward to some of the things I've actually written down here that I really wanted us to hit on, but like I said earlier, I made a mention, sometimes, in my own opinion, I do think the subconscious mind work negatively on the thoughts than being positive. I kind of think about it like sometimes when you're driving, most of the thought is like, I hope I don't get accidents. When you're walking alone on the street, and hope I don't get robbed, I don't get raped, or hope something don't hit me as I'm walking alone. Things like this. When you go to the church or in a meeting, you want to stay at the back. You think, I don't deserve the front seat, the front line. Or you see a beautiful home. Probably I don't deserve to live in that home. It's some certain kind of people that should be living in that home. You see a nice car. Probably I don't deserve to drive on that car. It should be given to some certain kind of airlight or something. Sometimes it's like our mind is always operating on negative belief by default.
Absolutely. And Eddie, I mean, and it all begins. The thing is when we're, from 0 to 7 years of age, when we're pumped with all that, so much negativity. And it's not because sometimes they mean to do that. I'm not saying parents mean to pump that negativity. They don't even know either. They're operating from their subconscious programming, right? But when we're told, stop, don't do that, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not, shut up and be quiet. And that, our little sponges, when we're those babies, we're taking all that in. And they say by the time we're 7, that program has literally been set. And so this is the difficult part we have, is to reprogram our mind, our subconscious mind, to stop acting on autopilot, to start to consciously make decisions and begin to be aware of what's going on, and that negative voice that, that'll sit on the shoulder there, and it'll just keep going, and we're gonna keep on top of that, right? It still comes up. It comes up for me still, but I'm aware of it. And I kick it and put it in its place. I'm not going to let that damn thing control my life any further. It's I was doing I had a gig, my first public speaking gig overseas about 3 years ago in America. And when I first got the job, I was so excited. I was like, yeah, awesome. I'm going to go overseas. I'm going to be talking and even singing. I was singing a song as well. And then as the months crept on and it got closer and closer to the event, the negative voice started to come in and started to say, who do you think you are? You can't do this. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. And can I tell you, Eddie, it got that much for me that at one point, and this was only like a few months before, I wanted to pull out. And I was asking my friends, how can I get out of this?
How can I get out of this?
And I'm telling you, luckily my friend said at the time, it's too late to get out. Go and do it.
You already in.
And all I can say is thank goodness, because what happened was then when I went to that event, I had it semi-planned as to what I was going to say, but I had to end up just opening it up and trusting God that I can do this. And my job here is to be of service to the people in the audience. And that took the attention from me. It's not about me up there on the stage. It's about the audience, right?
Yeah.
It's about giving to them. And so I said a prayer before I went on. I set an intention. I just said, God, please help me to give. Let's reach just one or two people out there. And when I walked up on stage, something happened. And it was like magic. And it was like everything, again, it's that present moment, right? Everything just crumbled away. And I delivered that talk like I was meant to be there forever.
Wow.
And so that negative thought, that negative voice, I can still hear. It'll still come on, but I'm getting much more aware of that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really amazing. The question I really want to draw out here is how do we get rid of this kind of church when they are invading on us? Like, you don't deserve this, you shouldn't be there, you don't work where you are, you don't deserve the job, you don't deserve the home, you don't deserve that lady, you don't deserve that car, look at yourself. All this limiting belief, they're trying to make us lesser than who we are as an authentic human. So what are the simple techniques you think anyone can use to get rid of all this belief system that automates in our on the subconscious mind when it comes to relating with events or happen to do things or getting involved in activities or desires or trying to go after something? Like in your case, you're about to get ready for that event. Something was trying to talk you out by pulling away from it instead of going towards what's probably God have destined you should do. When we have all this belief invading on us, what are some of the simple techniques you can recommend for anyone to use to get rid of these beliefs?
Yeah. I'll talk about three things. And I'm not going to say, Eddie, that they're simple because they require discipline and they require work. But these are the three things. And the first one is, as I mentioned previously, I think affirmations are so important and are often pushed aside. And some people say they even don't work. However, affirmations have helped me out no end. And I can tell you, when I was going through that really dark time, I had one up on my mirror called, I wrote, "I am beautiful inside and out." And I would see that on my mirror every morning I go to brush my teeth. And for years, I saw that. And I will tell you, when I first had that written, I didn't like to look at it. Wouldn't even look at it. Didn't even want to acknowledge it. I found it very difficult because I had such shame and guilt and no self-love. It had just gone. But I said it. I would start to say it every day. And then, of course, years later, that was up there since 2005 to 2020, 15 years. That was there. Even when I left that house, it was still left on the mirror. And it helped me out no end. So I think affirmations, but it's not just about writing them or speaking them, but we've got to feel them as though it's already happened. So if it's, if it was a stage performance, I could have been using, I am giving the presentation of my life. And when we keep saying that and we feel it, we're raising our vibration. I am giving the presentation of my life, and feel it and feel it and feel it. The feeling is just as important as the words, if not more so, because of what we're doing is we're raising our vibration and we're becoming a vibrational match to whatever it is that we want to draw into our life. It's all about the energy. And so affirmations is number one. Number two is meditation, or even if not meditation, at least contemplation. Take time out to be still. And even if that's having a cup of tea, looking out from your front yard or front porch, or you see, I think today's society, we don't even take time out to contemplate, because the phones and the apps and the Netflix and the this, that, and everything, we're so into this distraction mode and this fight or flight mode, constantly just ding, ding, alarms going off, apps going, just constant distraction. We need to take time to move out of that fight or flight mode, which the actual phones put us in. We're constantly on alert because they're either buzzing, ringing, or the apps are going off, and they're designed to do that, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're designed to do, to keep us alert, to keep us watching and coming back. But if we can just take 10 minutes out of your day to just be still. And if your mind's wandering and going around in circles, let it go in circles, but be aware of it. Just be aware of that. And here's how we can do this. This is what you can do to begin to practice this. It's like you can call it the hour of power or 45-minute morning session or whatever, but this is life-changing. 45 minutes, get up earlier every morning and divide it into 3 sections: writing, meditation, and exercise. And you can do 15 minutes of each, or you can do 20 minutes of each. I was doing 20 minutes. I've cut it down to 15 minutes, but that's okay. And first I come out and do exercises, 20 minutes. Now I've got to tell you something. When I first started this, because I wasn't doing much exercise, right? I'm going to tell you now, I lasted about 7 minutes. I was exhausted. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get through 15 or 20 minutes of this? I was like, but then you do it the next day, then you do it the next day, and then you begin to get that serotonin boost, right? You begin to feel good, and it empowers you. And you go, wow, this is the reason why I was doing it. Now I see. And I go from that 15 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes of exercise into writing. I come in here and I just write and write and write. Now, what do I write? I write anything that comes out of my head at that time. Pour out the stuff in your head. Pour out the crap. Whatever it is, get rid of it and release it. And it doesn't matter if you've got nothing to write. Just write. I've got nothing to write. I've got nothing to write. Nothing's coming to my mind. Just get it all out. And you begin to empty your mind. And then also you're beginning to tap into creativity, because you're moving out of that, you could say the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight mode. You're beginning to move into this creative mode, right? So write, pour it out, and then release at the end with a 15-minute meditation or contemplation. So you can, and you can use YouTube for this. You can go to my meditations if you like, but you can even just sit there in silence and just observe the world from where you are. Just sit. And what you'll find is this builds on top of each day. You get stronger and stronger, and you're beginning to operate from a place of awareness. So you become more aware of that negative voice, and because you're getting more intimate with who you are and in touch with yourself, right? And so you're becoming more aware of your thoughts. You can pick up that negative voice and you can recognize it then for what it is. And that does not have to control you anymore.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, this 45 minutes has been like life-changing for me. And I forgot to mention too, even before I begin that 45 minutes, even before I'm out of bed, I set an intention for the day.
Yeah.
And that's quick. All I do is just, I'm still lying down in bed, right? Wake up. Okay, what's my intention for the day? So that can be, sometimes I say, I'm just grateful for things, and I'm just rattling off. I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for the fan. Thank you for the curtains. Thank you for this place. Thank you for my pajamas. Or you can just set the intention. Today I choose to give to blah, blah, blah. Today I choose to do this, or I choose to do that. Then bang, get up, go and begin your exercise.
Wow.
And just that's not even an hour, like 45 minutes it can be. And let me know, watch your life change. 45 minutes. You're tapping into the physical stuff, the spiritual stuff, and the mental stuff.
Yeah.
Just releasing it all.
Quite incredible. You make you made mention of something like being intentional, and that's personally it has really helped me a lot. Setting intention for the day before you even begin. There was a time I personally I struggle with anger management. I get freaked out easily. Probably maybe when you say something I don't like, or when you do something I don't like, I get angry easily. At the time I noticed it was becoming a serious problem for me. And I began to think, man, how can I really deal with these issues? I have read so many books and watched a lot of videos on anger management or something. But this setting intention for the day was actually one of the techniques that helped me to get rid of this anger management. So when I wake up in the morning and I tell myself, today you're not going to get angry, regardless of whatever is going to happen. I was kind of being proactive, towards whatever is going to happen today to you, and you've been pushed or to the limits or however I read, but today you promise yourself you're not going to get angry. And as the day rose, when I actually get pushed by someone probably, which was almost inevitable for me at that very period of time, I quickly remember what I have promised myself before I get up from bed in the morning. You remember what you said, that awareness always helped me to put myself under control regardless of how much I was being pushed at that very moment. You remember you promised yourself, today you're not going to get angry. Now you've been pushed. Will you break the promises that you've promised yourself? I said, no. You see, instead of me getting a higher vibration of getting into anger mode, I see myself being more calm, pressing down that annoyance that was about to evaporate out of me at that very particular moment. It's really incredible how much we can, able to actually really take control of our subconscious mind if we actually set an intention and being aware of what is actually really going on within us. Because sometimes our mind can actually really just drift out without even we knowing what is going on. You see yourself sitting down here, you're just really thinking about something differently entirely, until you actually come into that awareness, being intentional of what is going on right now within your subconscious mind. You might just see yourself going negative without even knowing about it.
Yes. And see, the beautiful thing of that is that intention that you set, of being calm and to remain calm, and, you're setting yourself up for the day in a positive way.
Yeah.
Rather than not doing anything, because if you do nothing and don't even think about it, then it's almost like you're allowing yourself to be tossed around by the wind, right? but you set that intention that I'm going to remain calm. No matter what pushes me, I'll remain calm. And it's that equivalent to, like, if you get out of bed and you stub your toe on a shelf or something and you go, I shouldn't have woke up. Now it's going to be a shit day. It's going to be a terrible day, and rah, rah, rah. And then what happens then? Yes, that's the intention, right? You begin to set it and it goes down, and it's exactly what you intend it to be. But when we take that time out, to intend to, to keep calm at all costs. And you remember that. And then when that comes up, that, as you said, that's my intention.
Wow.
And you're contributing to your life. You're the co-creator.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I have another question that I really wanted us to also to talk about here. Let's talk about changing the narratives. Like in your own story, there was a time like I said before, the subconscious mind seems to be working negatively by default on automate without even we knowing about it, and if we have to talk about changing the narratives, there's a quote by Dr. Wayne Dyer that I think it was from Dr. Wayne Dyer. He said that when you change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change as well. Reading about your story, this was the first thing that came into my mind, how you change the narrative, the acronym HIV into here in vitality. This was the first thing that actually really came into my mind. The doctor gave you the kind of diagnosis of HIV, which could, as most people, or I could see, like was like kind of giving a death sentence to a prisoner, saying, you know what, now we're sentencing you to death. You're not gonna live anymore. This is the way I see it. But you were able to change the narrative from condemnation into reinvention of your own self. For anyone who has been handled that kind of letter or piece of information, the first thing that came into people's mind is, how do I follow up? Now my time has already been timed. So how do I wrap up my life up here? So what next? Probably maybe I just have to get drunk and take more drugs, or get more stupid, or probably if I have any little money left, I should just go for the best place in life and exhaust it, since I don't even have time to spend here anymore. But in your own case, this was actually the time you begin to reinvent yourself. How were you able to change that narrative from kind of death sentence into life reinvention?
Yeah, good question. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. As I mentioned before, the first year, it was pretty rough. I literally hid away, and because I remember the doctor saying to me, or the counselor, I went in to see a counselor, and she said to me, "Oh, she said, don't worry." She said, "Now with the medication," she said, "people are living for 10 years now." And that did not comfort me. I'm going to tell you. I was not comforted. I did not want to end my life to end in 10 years. I was just like, no, this is not right. But so I had to deal with that, right? I had to deal with just all of that. But I think it was inherently, I valued life. Deep down, I did value life. And I thought to myself, no one's going to take this away from me. This is changing. I'm changing. And I think what I did is I lifted my focus away from poor me and all this negative stuff about who I was and stuff. And I began to shift my focus on service to other people. And amazingly, I think that once we begin to also shift that focus, where in some ways we are changing the narrative there, because it's not just about me anymore. It never really was just about me. It was about, what part do I play in this world, and how can I help others? How can I make someone else's day a little bit better? So yeah, it's I think that was it. I think it's just this. I really had a value for life, and I recognized that this was a second chance for me, and I could go one way or the other. I could have continued on and said, okay, well, what's the point? This is, and then just keep drinking and taking more and more drugs and destroyed myself. But for me, there was kind of like no choice. I knew what I was going to do. I knew the pathway I was going to take. I thought, nah, this is not beating me. No way. I'm just beginning. I'm just starting. And so I began, yeah. Can I just speak in regards to that? When you were talking about changing the narrative, there was another example of this of when the days when I was singing. And it was a major singing contest in Sydney. And I did the heats, I did the semi-finals and the finals and got into the grand final. And there was 18 singers there. And everyone was exceptional talent. They were all very, very good, including myself, right? Including myself. We're all there. We're all very good. But when I was there backstage and I was the last performer to go on, and I heard performance after performance, and they were brilliant. And I started to get further and further down. I thought, what am I doing here? Like, I'm not good. Again, I'm not good enough. That voice come in, right? And then the lady that was comparing the show saw me, and she said to me, Jason, you're not looking yourself. Like, what's going on? And I said, I just, everyone's brilliant out there. And I just said, I'm not sure, that I'm good enough and I should be here, And she just said to me, she put her hands on my shoulders and she said, what did you come here to do today? And I said, I come here to sing. I said, I really want to sing my best. And she said, you like singing? And I said, I love singing. And she said, then forget about the competition. Forget all about it. Why don't you just now go out there and enjoy it? Forget you're even in the competition. And something happened inside me. And I thought, okay, I'll just do that. I'll have fun. That's what I sing for anyway. That's initially what I was singing for. And something happened and I ended up giving the performance of my life and I won that competition. Wow. And it was only through that power, that lady reminding me to tap into the joy rather than, for and against people, seeing ourselves as competition. Yeah. No, discover the joy, get out there and do what you love to do and just get out there and do it. And I did. And it was a shock to the system when I won it. It was just unbelievable. Wow. But it was that changing the narrative. It was that changing the thought process of going from I'm not good enough to just go out there and shine. Just go out there and do it.
And do your thing.
Just do it. Yeah.
Honestly, that's absolutely incredible. That's where I think that's where some of the limitation actually lies. Sometimes we will try to compete rather than living out who we are as a person. Instead of seeing, we're looking within us and seeing who we are. We look without and see competitors.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, we probably find ourselves doing that so much of this comparison.
Yeah.
And instead of just recognizing that, hey, we can shine, I can shine, you can shine. There's space for us all to shine, to be bright, to give, to love 100%, not 99% or 98%, 100%.
Honestly speaking, and also, when we talk about this guided meditation, there are a lot of techniques that you teach about on guided meditation, talking about what is it called, gratitude and some of these techniques, affirmation, visualization, and meditation. Can you quickly hit a little bit light on these techniques like gratitude, affirmation, and meditation and the visualization? How can they help us to get rid of this limiting belief that us do sometimes put a limitation to what we can do, actually try to suppress our authenticity as a person?
guided meditation is an amazing thing, because not only can it change, can we get to visualize, can we get to see the process of what we want in our lives, or and affirmations help with that as well. I incorporate affirmations into the meditation as well, because when we're in a relaxed state, affirmations are more empowering to use, and they can enter into our subconscious mind with greater ease. But the beautiful thing about guided meditation is the fact that it moves us away from our sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight mode that unfortunately now we are trapped in, most of us, for most of the time. We are in this mode of reacting to life, this constant reaction of, oh, what's going on? What have I got to do now? This, that, and especially even more so with COVID, even more so with this fear narrative that is pumped through the TV constantly. It's an absolute 100% fear narrative. And the beautiful thing about guided meditation, it takes us out of that sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, into the relaxation response, the parasympathetic nervous system. So we begin then to not come from a place of reaction, but we come from a place of creativity and what was the word I was going to use there? Not reaction. It slipped my mind anyway, but
Yeah, it's okay.
But basically, yeah, we're moving out of that fight or flight mode, that stage of fear, and into this place of creativity and awareness space. And I also use gratitude in my meditations too, because you see, gratitude again is often overlooked, and it's passed off sometimes as maybe nonsense. But let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you, and you probably know, and many listeners probably know, but the more we are grateful, the more we have gratitude and love for life, what we are doing there is we are raising our vibration. We are raising our energetic level. And funny enough, when we are grateful for things, guess what happens? It's like that big magnet, that law of attraction magnet, and it just brings more and more to us. The universe recognizes that it's providing for us, it's giving us, and so it's giving, then we're being that magnet, and it's going to provide us with more of that goodness, more of that love, more of that financial abundance. And I'm telling you, it works. I know. I can't tell you how much gratitude I live with on a daily basis, every single day. There's so many things to be grateful for, so many things. And so if you can just, even if it's a few minutes a day, step into that mode of, I'm so grateful now that whatever it is, that you're sitting in this beautiful, comfortable chair, or you've got a roof over your head, or you have friends and family. Because let me tell you, if you're listening to this, you're probably doing better off than probably 60% of the world's population who can't even have this, who can't even afford to have a computer or a phone. And so, yeah, gratitude is very important. I love to incorporate that in my meditations. So guided meditations are this beautiful way to connect on so many different levels on the, gratitude and affirmations and visualizations, to begin to visualize. So you see, what these guided meditations are doing is they're tapping into a way that sometimes if we don't do this, if we don't get a chance to visualize, then we're missing out. We're missing out on that co-creation of our life. But if we set ourselves up to have that chance to visualize, we're giving ourselves a great gift. We're beginning to write our script, our story, moving forward. Not the one behind us, but we're writing the story moving forward. And so I seriously say meditation is a beautiful gift. Guided meditations is a great way to begin. It's also a way you don't have to be a beginner. I still use guided meditation myself now. I also combine that with just being still with no sound, just taking in the sounds around me at the time. So
Wow.
meditation's a beautiful thing.
Amazing. Amazing. I know, I think sometimes these are some of the techniques we are not really, excuse me, aware about that, or we don't use, that actually do let these limiting beliefs overwhelm us. You know, sometimes when you look at things and most often life will always shows you what you don't have, what's out there that you haven't been able to achieve yet, and why there are so many beautiful things lying around you unnoticed. You know, someone said that in my language, there is something to say that there's a parable to say that it's a words begin from head. You know, sometimes we can't be very heady, but just because we've not been able to make the seven figures, we feel depressed. We go around with anxiety. We don't want to talk to anybody. We don't want to allow ourselves to feel that joy of living, which is the foundation of everything. You know, so but for someone who being able to incorporate these guided meditation like gratitude, like you say that the more we are grateful for something, the more we feel that vibration, we gravitate towards things out there that we actually desire. You know, so but most people who don't really practice the techniques of gratitude, visualization, they always feel losing out of what is out there. They feel like just chasing without even noticing the beautiful things around you. You know,
Exactly, and that's where it starts, right? That's where it starts, is right here now,
exactly.
with all that we have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely. I also quickly want us to talk about there's something I really think is quite very serious. We should really I really want you to address. You know, it's worry. You know, sometimes we worry is one thing that sometimes we don't actually know when we plunge into it. We automatically plunge into it by default. Just sometimes, like I said before, that sometimes our brain, our subconscious mind just go negatively without even we knowing about it until we find ourselves swimming in negative thoughts and ideas or something. You know, sometimes when things happen that we thought shouldn't be, and the first thing, our brain automatically switch into worry mode. You know, we see ourselves getting worried and thinking like maybe it could have been more better than the way it is. You know, and what the question I want to draw out of this is that when we come across situation that should put us into worries and anxieties, you know, how can we be able to switch ourselves back from this worry mode into some of these guided meditation technique like gratitude and visualization? Try to visualize positively, or trying to find things to be grateful for. What are some of these techniques we can use to switch ourselves from worry into these techniques?
Yeah. Well, the first thing I'd like to say on that is, this is why it is actually so important to, if you can, to develop a habit of meditation, or of taking that 10 or 15 minutes out per day, every day. Because when we develop a habit of that, then what we're doing is we're keeping that worry at a lower threshold. It's a lower level, right? We don't allow it to accumulate. We're cutting it off every single day, just shedding it off.
Yeah.
But now, upon saying that, things do happen, right? Things do occur. And I think the first thing we have to do is to acknowledge it and not try and run from it and not try and push it away either. We just have to sit there and acknowledge it and be with it. And I think it's like You know, you've got to go through that pain to come out the other side. And I really believe that sometimes we do. However, it becomes a problem if it's ruminating thoughts, right? If they just keep going over and over and over again, and you can't silence your mind. And that is where I think this one little gift I can give you is this intentional breathing, where you just breathe in through the nose. This can help to quieten the mind, right? Can still the mind. Breathe in through the nose on the count of 4. So you're breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. 1, 2. Breathe out for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. Breathe in again. Hold. Breathe out. Hold. Breathe in. And what that's happening is it's getting two things going. It's you're triggering the relaxation response through this breath control. And also when you're focusing on the counting of the numbers, you know, you're doing that 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2. You're shifting your mind away, and it's bringing you right into this present moment. And guess what happens? When you're in this present moment, as what happened to me when I was with all the anger, right?
Yeah.
When we're in the present moment, it all crumbles away.
Wow.
And so this beautiful breath technique, and it's so easy, and you can do it anywhere. No one will even know you're doing it. You can do it at the office desk. If you need to calm down, right? Just stop, do that. And let me tell you, I'm telling you now, it changes the physiology in your body. It will change your body and mind. It's a little gift you can take with you.
Absolutely. Honestly, I couldn't agree more with this. This totally resonated with me. You know, I realize sometimes when we deal with issues that actually plunge us into worry mode, it's like most of us sometimes we don't actually really have this habit of taking a pause, you know, which can easily plunge into by these taking a breath or slowing down our breath and you know, using this breathing mode. Sometimes when we're worried, we just continue. We don't take a pause, and it lead us from different stages of worry to another stages of worry. And I tell you the truth, Jason, personally, I'm a student of life, and I realize sometimes most of the things that I worry about never happened.
Yes.
Yeah, most of the things I worried about never happens. And sometimes these are the things that I already be taken care of already without even me knowing about it. Sometimes I just ask me, why do I have to waste so much emotion thinking about this thing that wasn't even going to happen? You know?
Absolutely. We can waste so much energy, right?
Energy. Honestly speaking. So much on things that are already be taken care of. And also I think we should learn how to be taking a pause, you know, when we see ourselves worrying over anything, and then we evaluate. You know, sometimes most of what we do impersonate in situations. We try to play roles that doesn't belong to us. You know, somebody said that there are two things you shouldn't fight in life: things you can take control and things you cannot take control of. Yeah. What you can control and what you cannot control. You know, and sometimes most of our worries are impersonation on things that we can't control, things that we cannot influence. You know, so when you have this habit of taking this breath, using this breath, what do you call it, techniques, or taking a pause and reflect or evaluate, yeah, these things that I'm worrying about, is this something I can actually control, or is this something I have control over? Or
great question.
Or it is something that I don't have control over. If it is something that you have control over, then go ahead and outsource. What can I do about it? Where does the power lie? Who do I need to connect? Who have the solution to this thing? So, but if it is something that you don't have control over, then why wasting your energy on it?
Let it go.
You let it go. Like in your own situation, changing the narrative, the acronym does not really change the situation, but your narrative, your feelings, your interpretation has changed entirely. So what you cannot control is there, but now what you control is to reinvent yourself into a better person, seeing life in a different form, seeing life in more like from a cynical perspective to service perspective. What is my life all about? What can I do for other people with the life I have with me right now? Yes, I have been told that I have this. This is the situation. But now from here on, so what can I do with my life that can affect other people? What can I take control over? And actually, this is where most people are really missing it. We really lack that attitude on what to really on what is our role in every situation. Because when it comes to when we come across situation or when we encounter any situation of any kind, there are always rules that which we can play, and there are roles which God can play, which are not ours. So sometimes we try to impersonate God, and we leave our own role behind without taking care of it.
Yes. And I think you touched on something there about when sometimes we're not sure of our role or what part to play in that. And one thing we need to be aware of is the fact that sometimes it's perfectly okay when we don't know what we're here to do or what we're going to do, and that we don't try and force ourselves into anything. We just be open to that and say, it's okay, I don't know at this time, but I'm sure it will unfold in its own time.
Absolutely.
There's no rules about that you need to go to university, you must know the course that you're going to do, you must know this, you must know that. No, open your book, keep the book open, and just allow each page to turn as it does in life. Just allow page by page to unfold. And where you're at now is perfect. So you can only move forward from there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Anyway, honestly, just it's really quite an amazing moment with you. And I'm really so glad that I was able to have this opportunity to have this conversation with you. Excuse me. And I quickly wanted to say something to one or two person out there. I really don't know who this might goes to. For someone, you have really struggled with so much, and you came out as a warrior and as a victor, and someone who have really been able to overcome so many of these life challenges. Someone who have dealt with depression, anxieties, and many struggles in life. For someone who could actually be going through like some of those your back experience, then if you were to say one or two things to that for a person, what would that be?
I could just say to love, put your hand on your heart, and just tell yourself right now, that you're going to be okay, and you're protected, and you're going to be okay. And I know that you might not think that at the time, but if you can just do that and just say, or even talk to that little kid inside and just say, I'm going to take care of you. We're going to get through this together. And I think that will give you some power to move forward. Just promise that little boy or girl inside of you that that you're going to take care of that child, and you're going to get through, both of you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Eddie.
I really appreciate this moment. I really appreciate this moment.
It's an honor, man.
Before I let you go, I think I will quickly let me just ask you my last question, please. And
yes.
what kind of legacy would you want to leave behind on the planet after you must have done your time here on Earth, maybe the next 100 years, the next 50 years or something? What do you want that legacy to be?
So much. I mean, one day I would love to buy acres and acres of land that can be not touched and not bulldozed down, and plant so many trees on this land for all the animals and the forest. That's something that holds a place in my heart, and that's almost like a visualization for me that I'm going to work towards. I see it. So that's one thing, but I truly want, just every day that I'm here, if I can just make one person's life a little more easier, just one person, then to me, that's a beautiful legacy. That's all. Just if I can reach one person, that's important. That's important for me.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Jason. I am deeply, deeply, deeply grateful for this opportunity, and I want to thank everyone that will be lucky or be blessed to come across this broadcast, and I hope we all have a great tons of value out of this conversation, and I look forward to come across our part again on my next episode. And I want you to look out for Jason Stephenson channel on YouTube. If you're someone who is struggling with anxiety, depression, seeing yourself in a victim mode, and you are not really comfortable with, and you need that kind of liberation, or you need that kind of content or message that will hold your hand and say, you know what, come out of here, let's go. I think Jason Stephenson is the boss person for you to follow on this journey. So please, Jason, can you please quickly tell us if anybody want to reach out to you or find your content, or however, how can people get in touch with you easily?
They can reach out. I do a weekly email, and I've got a free guided meditation MP3, free one. You can just go to www.jasonstephenson.net, and that's Stephenson with a Stephenson.
Yeah.
jasonstephenson.net, and you can sign up, and you can keep in touch with a weekly email, and also give you a free MP3 meditation as well.
Wow.
And YouTube as well.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Jason, and have a beautiful day. And
thank you, Eddie.
Thank you so much, everyone who will be coming across you, or who's been following. God bless you, and have a beautiful day ahead. See you again.
God bless.
Thank you so much.